Alright, what's up guys? In today's video, we're comparing the MAC-10 versus the MP5 in Cold War to determine what is actually the best SMG to use right now in Warzone. So there are actually a bunch of hidden stats about the MAC-10 that makes it better and worse in some situations. So we're going to break that down in today's video. First and foremost, we're going to build the best class setup for each weapon to help compare those stats of the guns head to head. Both class setups are actually built the same. There's a lot of hidden stats about a bunch of the attachments in this game. They're all coming to the surface. So first and foremost, we're obviously using the agency suppressor. Gives us about 10% more range while actually giving us 10% less vertical kick, which is definitely a good improvement. With the long barrel, we're going to be using the task force barrel. It does give us 50% more range while giving us 80% better bullet velocity. Obviously, you guys know it doesn't increase your damage. It also doesn't affect your recoil, which is an excellent bonus. This is probably the only barrel you should be using on your SMGs. As far as the underbarrel, we're going to be using the Bruiser Grip. You guys can see it does have no negatives. It is only pro is melee quickness, but this actually gives you the least amount of vertical recoil out of every grip in the game, which in my opinion is excellent. Obviously, we're going to be using the 50 round mag, most ammo possible. The fast mag does lower your ADS a bit more, so we don't really want to be using that. And as far as the stock, we're going to be using the Raider stock. It's basically going to help your stray speed and your sprint to fire in exchange to lower your hip fire, which on both these guns is pretty good. So you get two most important improvements, which is your stray speed and your hit sprint to fire, which helps you win more close range gunfights, which you definitely need. So that's going to be the class setup for both guns. We're going to take a look now, is the time to kill and up to what range, to compare these guns to see which one is actually better in that department. So you guys can see on the screen, this is the time to kill and up to what range. You guys can see the MP5 in purple actually has a faster time to kill than that of the MAC-10. And that is due to the fact the MAC-10 does have an open bolt delay of 50 milliseconds. So when you go to press your trigger, it takes 50 milliseconds for it to actually register to shoot the gun, which does lower your time to kill. So that definitely is a big factor. The time to kill is almost identical with both these guns, so we're not going to focus too much on it. Obviously, you guys can see is that range is much better than with the MAC-10, about 10 meters more than that of the MP5, and that is the biggest factor in why the MAC-10 is so good, because it can do the same damage 10 meters longer than pretty much all the good SMGs, which is why everybody uses it. You guys will see a lot of people shooting, you know, beyond 20-30 meters sometimes with the MAC-10 because it's a very viable weapon at that distance. But the biggest factor to take a look at here is when you go to the best class setup, you compare the stats. The biggest factor is the MAC-10 actually has a bunch of hidden stats you actually have to test for. I'm going to showcase a couple of clips here in just a minute on how I actually tested this and found out. But the MAC-10 does have a faster ADS speed, does have a faster movement speed, and does have a faster stray speed. If you actually go on Cold War and you look, it claims all the guns have the actual same mobility, which obviously isn't true in Warzone, which a lot of the stats about attachments isn't true in Warzone. So the biggest factor, does have a faster ADS. The sprint to fire is a little bit lacking on it, so that's why I use the Raider stock to improve it. But you guys can see the sprint to fire in the MP5 is incredible. Your movement speed is a little better with the MAC-10. Your stray speed is extremely fast with the MAC-10. Your bolt velocity is identical, hip fire is identical, and the MAC-10 has a faster reload. So as far as your overall mobility of the MAC-10, it's much better, which is why it's, in my opinion, probably one of the most popular weapons. And the second factor, when we take a look at the recoil, I'll showcase the video clip on the screen you guys can see. The MP5 does have a little bit better recoil pattern as far as the stabilization left to right. It mainly kicks vertically. For the first 17 shots of the MP5, it kicks up and then it no longer kicks. So it does have more vertical kick as far as it kicks faster, but the MAC-10 kicks the exact same amount almost identically, but it kicks through the entire 53 bullets. So it has less vertical kick, but it's not as stable as that of the MP5. So that's one of the biggest factors about it. But that's basically it as far as breaking down the stats of these weapons. The MAC-10 is the best gun. Everybody uses it for a reason, and that is because the mobility is that much better of all the SMGs, and that's what makes this gun incredible. So the one biggest factor I want to take a look at is what actually makes the MP5 a good gun, and why a lot of people say, well, why should I even bother using it? And the number one reason why it's a good gun is it has an excellent damage. So you guys can see when they ended up nerfing the MAC-10, they lowered the headshot from from a 1.4 times headshot down to a 1.2. So right now it takes 5 headshots to lower your time to kill by 1 shot, which is a massive factor. With the MP5 from Cold War, it only takes 2 headshots to lower your time to kill by 1 shot, which is definitely what makes it excellent. Has a really good damage, has a really good headshot. You take both guns with the max ammo, 50 bullets and 53, you're doing 300 more damage with that of the MP5 than that of the MAC-10. So you get 1 full extra down with that full mag, which is what makes the gun excellent. So the best thing about it is the overall damage. So once you basically go through and break down all the stats, as far as the MAC-10, basically better every way in the mobility, has better range, faster ADS, all the factors that matter to help you win more close range SMG fights. This gun is better, and that's why it is the most popular weapon. So the biggest thing we're taking a look at is basically how you end up testing for these movement speeds and these strafe speeds. I'll showcase my editing software with the clips so you guys can see this is actually how you go through and test it. In Cold War, definitely is probably going to be a lot more required to do the testing. I did a lot of this in Modern Warfare. If you watched my videos previously, I show a bunch of clips. But with the Cold War guns not transferring to Warzone straight, like all the stats are different, you actually have to go through and test. So I went through and tested, which you guys will see on the screen here. So the first and foremost factor, this is going to be the strafe speed. The strafe speed, in my opinion, is one of the most important factors for an SMG and what makes it good, which is why the Cold War MP5 was one of the top weapons, because it had the second fastest strafe speed. So this is when you're in a gunfight strafing left to right. This is the reason we use the Raider stock. So I start both guns at the same point, and basically once you get to a certain point, you guys will see on the screen the door is actually showing with the Uzi. And then obviously on the left we have the MP5. The door is not on the screen because the MAC-10 does strafe faster. So if you skip a couple of frames ahead, you guys will be able to see here that the MAC-10 has completely reached its final destination, the end of the pull, and the MP5 hasn't reached it yet. And that's basically how you go through and test the strafe speed to see you test a certain distance, and that's definitely where you notice the biggest difference. As far as the movement speed, same thing. You ping a certain distance and you test both guns. You guys will see as soon as I tap, they both start taking off. And you just go through and play the clip, and eventually they both get somewhat near the end of the destination, and you go to see which gun actually reaches the destination first. And you guys will be able to see in just a second if it'll load. The MAC-10 has reached the wall. The MP5 is still not there yet, and that's the biggest factor. The strafe speed is definitely 100%, in my opinion, excellent. The movement speed is not that big a factor, but when you're going to get out of the storm, out of the gas, you're trying to race to a truck, race to a bounty, something like that, where it's time-based, that MAC-10 having a faster movement speed is definitely going to be noticeable. And then the second factor is going to be ADS speed. So what we're looking for here is how many frames it takes difference for the MP5 to reach its full destination. So we're looking at the middle of the screen here. You guys will see the white crosshair disappears here on the MAC-10. I mean, it's fully ADS'd. And then 1, 2, 3 clicks it takes for the MP5 to reach its final destination. So 3 frames faster ADS. This is at like a 90, 120 FPS. Might be a bit of a difference in there, but that's basically how I go through and test all this stuff to actually get the data for you guys. So if you guys learned anything new in this video, anything did help you make a better class setup or make you want to use the MP5, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel down below if you guys are new. If you guys haven't yet, follow me on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Trapgod. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And I'll see if you guys want to know where I stream every single day, Twitch.tv/Trapgod. If you guys want to come follow me live on Twitch, I stream Modern Warfare and Warzone every single day. So if you guys want to come follow the stream every single month, I do subscriber giveaways for GFUEL and SCUF controllers. So if you guys want to come over the stream and obviously click that follow button, I would very much appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video.